Christmas came early for Canucks fans as tonight they will finally see the season debut of Thatcher Demko. And we get a big JT Miller update that has Canucks fans even more fired up as this homestand continues. We're going to be breaking down all of that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any updates surrounding the Canucks as this week continues. With that, let's hop in the first topic of the day, which is Demko brings early Christmas. Yes, folks, it's here. Thatcher Demko making his season debut against the St. Louis Blues tonight. He's finally back between the pipes after missing so much time since the last season's playoffs against Nashville in that first game, but now he is back on the ice having recovered from his abnormal knee injury that even doctors that have been practicing for 50 years haven't even seen know how to deal with it. But now we are finally seeing him get back in the swing of things, and it could not have come at a better time for Vancouver, because when you look at the standings, they're still right in the hunt there for that Western Pacific division, or the Pacific division in the West there. And overall in the West, they're ranking around near the bottom of the top 8. So they have some room to move up there as well. But the division is still within reach, still within 7 points. So we can definitely make up some ground here heading into the holiday season, heading into the new year, so that we can carry it through into the All-Star break and then some, so that we can finish strong this spring, and hopefully we are playing late May hockey into June. That's what we're hoping, and that's what we're expecting almost out of our Vezina caliber goalie to help get us there. This is a huge thing for the Canucks. They are getting some big pieces back. Another one that we're going to talk about in a minute that's coming back very soon as well. But overall, Vancouver's starting to get healthier. Finally, we're going to see what this Vancouver Canucks team is really made of, because these first 30 games or so, we haven't seen the full Canucks yet. Yes, we had all of our forwards in at the beginning of the season, but then we had Brock Boeser get hurt. He left for a little bit. Then we had Petey needing to get going a little bit. Now he's getting going a bit more. We had Jake DeBrusk needing to settle in. Now he's rolling. Then JT Miller leaves the team for a bit. He's going to be coming back soon as well. Thatcher Demko didn't start the season with the Canucks. Because if he's hurt, now he is coming back. Derek Forbort also making some progress. So the Canucks are getting these pieces back, and Thatcher Demko is the centerpiece of this almost Christmas feast of players returning from injury. That a lot of teams, it would be like they're getting a massive signing, but the Canucks are an in-house signing almost, or like an in-house acquisition in a sense, because they are getting these players back that are already with the team and just getting back into their form, fitting in with this team perfectly. And Thatcher Demko is the first piece of that, and the most important piece, because he is, yes, Kevin Lankinen, he's been solid. He's been great this season. But Thatcher Demko was a Vezina nominee last year, and he's hoping to build on that, or even try and go for it, even though he's coming in already a third into the season, or almost halfway into the season. So hopefully he can just get this going, get back on track to where he was at, pick up where he left off, not just get back on track, but do exactly that, and continue to just power through on this run that he has with the Canucks. When he is healthy, he is almost unstoppable. He's one of the best goalies in the league, as evident last season in the 50 or so games that he played. So hopefully he can just ride this out through the rest of the season. And with Demko being there last season, we had Casey DeSmith there as our backup. Not as reliable, got overused, and we saw what happened. This season, Kevin Lankinen, we've been using and abusing him, and he's still been pulling off great games. Even when his team has left him out to dry, he's still done a great job despite us getting a loss in there. When his other forwards and defensemen haven't been there to pick up the slack, really, he has still been there to shut pucks down in key moments when he can. So yes, when we get Demko back, we're not going to have to abuse him like we did last season, where we could wear him down and potentially get re-injured. We have Kevin Lankinen there where he is reliable. So if Demko is coming back after this game and he needs to take 2 games off after it just to get back in the swing of things, that's perfectly fine. I'm confident with that. I'm confident with rolling with Kevin Lankinen. I know you guys probably are as well, because look at his record, look at his numbers, especially on the road. So if Thatcher Demko plays one of the last few games of this homestand, or maybe 2 of them, but he goes out on the road and is the backup for a little bit just until he gets more of the road wings under him, that's perfectly fine with me. But the key thing is Thatcher Demko is back. What do you guys think about it? I know you're probably just as excited as I am. I know Mark is super excited. Love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments, but that's going to take us into our second topic of the day, which is JT Miller update. So yes, after all the talk about Thatcher Demko, we got another piece coming back soon, and that is JT Miller being back on the practice ice today. After Darren Dreger was saying on Harrison Price, if you want to pause it and take a read, he was saying how maybe Wednesday was when we were going to see him on the ice at the soonest on the practice ice, but then go from there as far as what they're feeling. But we saw him on Tuesday's practice just before they announce who is in and who is out for the game. Unfortunately, JT Miller will not be playing tonight and will not address the media today. First step as part of the Canucks plan of reintegration with the team. He probably will be speaking with the media tomorrow after Wednesday, or after the game happens tonight and going into tomorrow. He'll probably be addressing the team tomorrow. Again, first step in the reintegration is key. And as well, where taking the game day skate but not playing tonight or talking today, the plan is to practice Wednesday, address the media, and probably play Thursday. If this is what they're looking at, Thursday is going to be a big swing for the Canucks because we have Demko back, we'll get Miller back. Then it's just a matter of getting Hronek back, getting Forbort back, and then him finding a groove. Because now we're starting to see where these new Canucks acquisitions are starting to find their footing a little bit, where some of them, they took a while to get going. Now they're getting going, like Jake DeBrusk. He's been on fire lately. Kiefer Sherwood, best free agent signing of the entire offseason. Danton Heinen needs to get things going a little bit, but he still hasn't been terrible. So there are these free agents and new acquisitions that are going to start to really get in their groove, and hopefully Forbort is one of them once he comes back off of the injured reserve. And despite the absence of last season's leading scorer, the Canucks posted a 5-3-1 record, outscoring their opponents 31-28. During that span, the team have gotten impressive offensive contributions from Quinn Hughes with 14 points, Elias Pettersson with 13 points, Jake DeBrusk with 11 points, Connor Garland with 10, and Pius Suter with 9, who all boast at least a point per game during that 9-game stretch. So yeah, JT Miller being out has been a big blow, but these guys have really stepped up to kind of pick up the slack or fill in the void, where JT Miller almost leaves a void of a few players, and these guys have definitely stepped up and made sure that they were able to do that. So having JT Miller come back while these guys are cooking the way they're cooking, and then some with some of these defensive guys like Eric Brandstrom getting going. We're seeing now where Carson Soucy and Tyler Myers are starting to get a little bit going. They're finally coming to the party. They've finally showed up. So now if you have those guys going, then we have JT Miller coming back. Thatcher Demko's coming back. It's starting to get a little bit more peaceful in Vancouver. I love that this is happening because that's less stress for us. We're not going to have to go into as many games against a bottom feeder team or a bubble playoff team where we're worried, are we confident that we're going to come out with the W tonight? Because there's been a few of those games where we've been going into them a little shorthanded or a little underpowered. And I've thought, I don't think we're going to come out with this victory. Thankfully, some of them we did, some of them we didn't. So that's the tale of hockey. One team's got to win, one team's got to lose. That's the case for all sports, really. But at the end of the day, with the Canucks having Thatcher Demko, JT Miller, and eventually these other pieces, Filip Hronek eventually down the line as well, it just brings more confidence and more peace to fans and for the team as well, where they're themselves not having to go into these games against a team like even like a bottom feeder team like we've seen, like San Jose, but they've kind of been getting hot lately. Or some of these other teams where we've kind of struggled to beat them when we should have just pounded them away and put them away early. Like even Detroit, we should have just destroyed them. It went to overtime. So there are these teams where we're not beating them as confidently as we should. And even in the games that we're winning too, against good teams, we're not looking that strong. Yes, we're getting the W, but we are not at our full capacity. We know this is not the Canucks team that we saw last season entirely. It should be even better, but we just haven't gotten there yet. And I think we're finally on the precipice of doing that. That being said, I'm very happy it's happening now because I would much rather, like I've said before, I would rather this happen later in the season rather than sooner, where you take the first bit of the season to find your footing, get going, and then catch your stride and take off, carry it into the playoffs. Rather than last season where Canucks got off to a raging hot start, we're the best team in hockey by the midway point, and then kind of dipped a little bit as the final half of the season kind of went on. We don't want that this season because we saw what that brought for our playoff momentum heading into the postseason, where we went from being a Stanley Cup favorite last season to a team that nobody was even talking about and just disrespecting left, right, and center. But they were able to prove doubters wrong in that first round. They made it to the second round. They took Edmonton the distance of 7 games. But this season, we haven't seen that dominant Canucks team. Right now, they're still that team that people are disrespecting, that they're counting out, that they don't think will do anything, especially amongst Canadian teams. I know the Leafs are kind of, the Leafs are the Leafs, but they'd still have this going where people are still counting out the Canucks, but now they're getting back to full strength. They're getting a lot healthier, and now we're finally going to see what this Canucks team is really made of and I'm fired up. I'm sure you guys are fired up as well. Let us know what you think down in the comments on Thatcher Demko's return and the eventual return of JT Miller. Love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below. But that's going to do it for this episode of Canucks Digest. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon. We're going to be probably dropping a post-game video later tonight. We're going over all the stuff of the fallout tomorrow morning, but stay tuned for that. Make sure you click on the Canucks Digest. Take care.